Well, today we have lots and lots of beautiful butterflies. There are 8 sets here, and Heidi has used 4 of them, so I'll show you all about those. But in the meantime, let me just show you one of the projects. So here it is. So you can see the butterflies. You see butterflies floating, and that's what we have. Well, this is just one of the many things to share with you. Won't you please come play with us? Okay, let me just show you a little bit about each of these packages. They are sold separately, and of course we have a money saver, but they are foiled, they are die cut. You can see they each have a name, so this is Time to Fly, and everything is foiled, and there are greetings and tags and borders, so lots of things that you can create with. So this is going to be used, and we also have Special Happiness, lots of rainbow, and this is Handmade with Love. Isn't that pretty? And then also Magical Moments. Now, these are the 4 that Heidi has used, but we have more. So this is one of a kind of patchwork going on. And we don't want to forget pink. So this is Fluttering Hearts. Isn't that pretty? And let's see. So some have silver and some have gold foiling. This is Chase Your Dreams. It's teal. And then the last one is this, and it's called Be Bold. Isn't that a good title? So all of these are available, and as I said, it's just the foiled die cuts that are in each package. Okay, so let's get started. And this is the first one that we're going to use. This is the Time to Fly. And here is Heidi's card. Now this is, there's a lot going on in this card, so I'll share that with you, but let me just walk you through, just take a look at it. I kind of to introduce you to, all geared up to celebrate you. And then as we open, this is a 5x5 card, and as we open this, she has put acetate right here, thankful for you, and then there's butterflies and more butterflies. So she has really taken full advantage of that sheet. Okay, so like I said, let me walk you through what she has done. So you're going to start with, in fact, we can get a little bit closer, I think. You can start with your 5x6.5 inch card and then simply trim it to be 5x5. And the fold is at the top, as you saw. And she's got multiple layers of things, and each one, of course, on the front gets smaller. So we're going to start with the cardstock that she used, and this is out of Steampunk for Everyone. Don't you think that's a fitting thing? And you can see all the colors that are there, and the blue is, of course, what she has used. So step 1 was to cut your card down to 5x5, or start with a 5x5 card, whatever you like. Cover the front with the blue. And then she also went into the Steampunk for Everyone. Now this is the 12x12 sheet, and let me show you. So here's what the package looks like. This is full of these large cutouts, just absolutely brimming with them. And let me show you what she used. So that yellow is on this sheet, and she has used it all throughout this particular card. So on the front of it are these, which I'll talk about in a minute. But first of all, she cut a piece, and this is going to be, so this is 5x5, so the next one's going to be 4 7/8 inch square. Then she cut a piece of brown glitter, and that is going to be 4 inches square. So let me just bring that out. So here's the package. You can get 4 sheets, I think, and you can get them individually. So then the 4 inches, okay, 5, 4 7/8, 4 inches. Then she cut this border. Now this border is also out of the patterned cardstock, and it's right here on that front of that sheet. So we've got all of these bees and butterflies, excuse me, bees and ladybugs. And so she has matted that on the darker color and simply glued it across. Then she has taken a blue, and this is going to be 3.5 inches. And then finally we get to the topper. And obviously you can tell that she punched out the center area. So there's 3 layers of this, the center, and then a gold frame, and then a patterned frame. So right now we're just using the centerpiece. That is put onto the blue, and that's foam taped onto the glitter. The All Geared Up to Celebrate You. So in the directions, and the directions are down below, just click on the card and you'll see the directions. You can print them out if you like. It will say to glue and foam tape this, and that means that the glue is going to be up here, the foam tape is going to be here to hold it steady so it doesn't bend or do anything. So that's going to work very nicely. Now, she is a great lover of Hunkydory's bow maker, and I know that you've seen this before. And she used this time the 3/4 inch crepe ribbon, and this is just a favorite of mine because it makes a beautiful bow, but you can smash it, you can do all kinds of things to ruin it, and it just stays beautiful. So that's always nice to know, especially as it's going through the postal office and, you know, being handled by many people. So that's going to be nice. Now, I hope you can see there are some jewel dazzles. Now, they're very close in color to this patterned cardstock, but this is the the gold pearl jewel dazzles. Got all that? And of course there's 540 circles on there. And we call those jewels because they look like jewels. So she does 3 in the corner, and then she does them randomly onto the die cut, a little bit over here on the corners of the blue. So they're just going all over just to, again, make another accent. Now we're going to go inside, and inside she is using the top and the bottom of the inside. Now again, this is being covered with that yellow pattern. In fact, you can see the butterfly over on the right. So she's cut 2 strips or 2 squares to go in here, a little bit smaller than 5 by 5 because you don't want to go over the score line. So 1 piece here and 1 piece here. Then with this piece, we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to bring in the acetate. In fact, acetate is used on, I think, a couple of these cards. So let me show you what she does. She cuts a piece of acetate. So pretend that this is acetate. It's 5 by 5.5. Why 5.5? Because that 5.5 is going to get scored. And so it's 5 inches by 5.5. So I'm going to lay the 5.5 piece that's going this way. And I'm going to, this is the scoreboard. So whatever you have to do scoring, I happen to like this, but whatever works for you. So I'm just going 1/2 inch, making my score line, putting this back so it doesn't get lost. Okay, then we're going to take extra sticky tape, and that's the tape that has the red liner. And you're going to put that, going to fold this along the score line, and you're going to put that extra sticky tape right here. And then that is going to go right inside your card, like so. Then she did cut another piece of the yellow just to hide the glue. I mean, the glue is transparent, but just she wanted to do that. So it's right there. So now you have this fold. And let's see what's going to go on here. And by the way, the acetate that she used is our heat-resistant acetate. And I've asked Heidi why she chooses this, and it's because it's a heavier weight than the single sheets. So it's your choice, of course, but you've got 2 options, so that's nice to know. Now, on this, so we've got this going on, and remember on that sheet that I showed you, so this is the yellow, she cut out this butterfly and foam taped the center of it and kind of curled the wings. Now, to curl the wings, in fact, let me get that bone folder back. All she did was kind of hold them like curling ribbon, and you just put your finger over it and slide. And it's going to curve like that. And yes, it will stay curved even when it goes through the mail. So that's nice. And in the topper collection, that topper sheet, there are words and greetings. So happy birthday is going to get foam taped up there. Has some dazzles on it. This has some of the pearl dazzles. Down here, she elected to take this square, or make this into a square, and that's going to cut into this butterfly, but look what she does. She covers it up. So you see that heart, steampunky looking, and then she used the, let's see, this is the middle piece because this frame is solid, and she did matte that cut out steampunk onto the brown glitter. As you can see, this is one of the pieces on the sheet of the die cuts. This is that same butterfly from another sheet. She did the exact same thing with it. And you know, I forgot to tell you about what to do up here. So this, she used, I believe it was this one. Yes. So this guy is gotten trimmed out, and again, the dragonfly, a little bit of it's going to show, but she simply covered it up with Thankful for You. The Thankful for You is out of the cutouts that are part of the steampunk collection, so right there. So she simply has glued that up here, and this is the largest frame. So she separated those pieces, but used them and attached them to these steampunk papers, which is just a really great combination, don't you think? Now, this also was glued straight down, and that's fine, but then she took another sheet and cut out this part, the center part, and foam taped that in place, curved the wings, and you're set to go. So also, the other thing that she did is, because this is going to have the same yellow on the back of it, you don't have to do anything to cover that up because it's just matching everything else. So that's a nice benefit. So it was a really good pairing to put the this sheet, the Time to Fly, with the steampunk collection. The Steampunk for Everyone just worked out very, very nicely, and it's just dynamite card, don't you think? Okay, now we're going to move on, and this is the butterfly looking, or excuse me, the rainbow looking butterflies, and this is called Spread Happiness, and you can see the piece that she used. Now again, she's going to separate these three pieces and use them individually, so let me show you. This is a 5 by 6.5 inch card. We'll get a little bit closer to it so you can really see. And what she has done is, again, she's done some layers of things. So let me show you what all of those are. The paper that she used is a solid. It is out of the Tulip Parade solid cardstock. You can see there's several blues, a light, kind of a medium blue and a light blue. And so she has cut the medium blue to go just smaller than her card. And then she's also used silver, and she selected that, I am sure, to coordinate with the silver foiling that's on these die cuts. So there is a smaller piece right there. Again, you're going smaller with each layer. And then the other silver that she used, which is really fun, is this holographic stars. Now, I know you're probably saying, wow, is that ever something? But what happens is when you die cut it or you use it as a matte, you can just see what happens here. You get that flash of color, but it's not as prominent as it is when you see that whole sheet. Okay, so she's got another piece here. And notice that it is not smack dab in the center of the card. It is just a little bit over, about 3/4 of an inch from the right-hand side, but it does go top to bottom. And then she has another blue in the center, again, a little bit smaller. And so that took care of that. Now I want to go back to the toppers. And she took the, so this is the one we're going to be using. And by the way, you know, I didn't mention this, but this and these three were used in the first card, but you've got all of these left. So that's another benefit. You can make several cards out of one sheet, which is always nice. So what she did, and I thought this was really interesting. So this is the outer frame, that outer arch. She placed it horizontally. And I thought that was really interesting. She attached it horizontally. So that was, you know, really fun. And it is pretty centered on the card, top and bottom, and it just fits going side by side. Then she took the next frame, which is the silver one, and attached that just right down, and then foam tape the centerpiece just to give it a little bit of elevation. You can see that some of the circles, it's time to shine. And this one, this is down flat, this is foam taped. This one is also attached and foam taped, going at an angle. Now, can you see, oh, and there's also birthday wishes right at the top. Okay, that bow, it's done with the bow maker. And this set of ribbons has a really strange title. It's called Orange and Peach. Now, you might not think those go together, and I would completely agree with you, but there are a limited number of ribbons with those colors, so it just worked out better to combine them in one package. And she's used the orange. This is the metallic that's in there. The I guess that is an 1/8 inch ribbon. Okay, now the butterflies. We're going to get in super close to those. So let me show you. Okay, so some of them are down flat. That's great. In fact, let me show you the sheet. Well, it's in a package of 3 different butterflies. So there is purple and, oh my goodness, there are 2 other colors, and I don't have them memorized. I am so sorry. Pink and gold. Okay, purple, pink, and gold. And there's tons on every sheet. In fact, they come in 3 different sizes. So some are flat, as I said, and some are 3D, just like that. Now let me show you how those go together, because it's kind of neat. In fact, I just noticed that Lene is doing that on another webisode that she's presenting. So you're going to take 3 of them, but I'm going to start with 1, and I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, so there it is. Oops, let me get it like that. Okay, so I folded that in half, and I'm going to put that little puppy right there. Stay. Then I'm going to get another one, and you want to make sure that you're using the same shape, because there are multiple shapes in this package. And then you're going to fold this again. And what you're going to do is attach 2 wings together. And you do want them to match. So have your glasses on, make sure that that's going to stick. Okay, so I've got 2 of them together, and then it's, you know, I've got this appendage sticking out. So I'm going to do something with that. So I'm going to get a 3rd one. Yeah, I'm going to fold it in half. same process. And I'm going to attach it to the 2 that are right there. And then I will have, okay, oops, well, you get the idea, okay? It's easier when you have it very close to you instead of at a distance like I have right here. So that gives you a butterfly that, let's see, I'm going to leave these 2 unattached. So I've just attached 1, 2, 3 of the wings, and then these 2 are going to go down flat. So I have a butterfly on top, and then wings spreading out underneath, just like that. Okay, so that is how you make a 3D butterfly out of dazzles. And you can see right there and right there. And you can make another one. You can make tiny ones, whatever you like. Now, that's the card front. I'm going to open this up and go inside. So here she has kept with her silver stars, and she's kept with the blue solid. And there is a border. In fact, this sheet has 2 borders. So this one is just for you in the pastel colors. And then there's 2 big tags. So the one with the butterfly is the one that she attached flat. This one is foam taped, and you notice that they're at angles. And another bow out of the same ribbon that she used before. And all of these butterflies are flat. Okay, so you've got lots of butterflies going on. Okay, that is our 2nd card. Now we're going to go to our 3rd card. And isn't that pretty? Now this is using, so the main thing, or one of the things I want to share with you is that while she's doing 4 different styles, you can use any of these toppers to go along with that method, okay? So For this, you could use any of them, so it's not just limited to what I'm showing you that Heidi selected. Does that make sense? Okay, I thought it might. Okay, so for this one, we are using Homemade with Love, and you can see this is lots of different colors, oranges and yellows, but also some blues down here. Now she's elected to go with the orange and yellows, and she has used this on a center step card. Now, center step is just a classic look, and we have an easy way for you to use it, and it is a package of die-cut cards. So they are white, there are 5 cards, and there are 5 envelopes, and there are instructions on how to put it together inside the package, just to make it super, super easy. And there are also patterns that you can keep this, you can photocopy it, whatever you like, but these will give you patterns that are slightly smaller than the die cut areas. So that's what Heidi has done. So let me show you. So in this case, she has taken papers and put them down first, and the papers come out of this collection. This is a 6x6 botanical library. A beautiful collection, by the way. And so what she's done, so I'm going to start with the stripes. See the stripes on the side and the stripes down below? Well, those were done with this sheet, and this is on the back side of this sheet. And of course, in the 6x6s, you get 4 of these sheets, so it's not a problem to use one for this. So she has used the patterns. So she has cut the left side and the right side out of the stripe, but she made the stripe going horizontally there. So she's cut that piece, and then she also cut a piece to go down here, which is going to be 6 inches long, and glued those in place. Now we're going to get to the topper, and this one obviously is the one that she's using with the 3 butterflies. It again has 2 frames as well as the centerpiece. She's using those separately, which is interesting. I just find it really clever. So we're going to start with the biggest frame. So she's popped that out, and she has placed this paper, and there's the other side of it. That's beautiful. And attached that outer frame here, and then just trimmed it to fit, okay? Then that was glued to the center area. And so let me turn this over. There you go. You can see that's just a little bit larger than that center area, but that works perfectly with the design of the card. Now, the next thing she did that I found very interesting is she took this gold one and she cut it down. I believe it was, yes, I think it's 3/4 of an inch in. So just imagine the frame all by itself. And so she cut it 3/4 of an inch in, and she glued those 2, one on each side of the step. Isn't that interesting? And of course it fits perfectly because she made sure that that would work. And so what you get when the card is closed is you get kind of this double frame, which is nice. Now the centerpiece is foam taped, and the congratulations is, it's on that sheet, it's right here, and that's simply attached flat. Now with this one, she added the gold jewel dazzles, and I know that's really bright, but these are all circles, just like that first sheet that I showed you that was gold pearl. It's exactly the same die that's used, and there are 540 circles. So she has placed them in the butterflies, on the corners, and she also used these gold studs. They're self-adhesive on each of these pieces. So that's interesting. This is the same peach and orange collection of ribbons. So she has made one and zotted it and put it there. Now for the inside of her card, not everyone finishes the inside of these, but she elected to do so, and I appreciate that. So with this, she has done the stripes again, but this time going up and down. And this is the smaller frame. Again, she has glued that to that kind of sprigs paper, same one that she used on the front, trimmed it to fit and glued that down. And then this is this piece. Now it's really funny because it looks smaller there, but that's because there are 2 other frames. So this piece is what she's used here. All the best is right under it. More studs here on each side. More of the gold jewel dazzles in the center and another bow right there. So it is congratulations, all the best, but of course it could be any theme, absolutely any. And I love how she used the patterned papers and patterned cardstocks that she selected because they just really enhance these die cuts. Okay, I have one more card for you, and that's the one I showed you in the beginning. And this is using magical moments, so purples. Okay, and she's going to be using the circle right here, and let me just show you. So this is interesting because she cut the front of the card down. It is 3 inches down, I believe, and then cut it over. And so she did a neat thing with these pieces. Again, she has separated them, which she often does if you haven't noticed. And the paper that she selected to go with this is called Mystic Moon. And this is a 12 by 12, although there is a 6 by 6. So this is Mystic Moon. So blues and purples and some pinks in there. And this is the paper that she used on the front. So this, so as you cut that off, she is going to use part of this, and actually she turned it so that you got this blue line. That's going to cover this smaller, let me separate that. Yeah, it's going to cover that smaller area, but she did leave a very narrow white border on the card, so that's showing, okay? So that's there. Then I'm going to go ahead to the inside of the card for a moment since we've got the paper right here. And she used the 3 hanging moons on the inside of the card. And you can, well, you can see the strings hanging from the card when it's closed. And then she used another of the same piece down to cover the back of this one. Okay, so she's almost used the whole piece, not quite, but really an effective color combination. Okay, so now she is going to go back to that heat-resistant acetate. Remember, we used it on the first card, I believe. And she is going to attach with extra sticky tape. And there's my extra sticky tape. Talked about it before. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. This is 1/4 inch. We have 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and now 1/8 of an inch, but she used the 1/4 inch, I believe, here. And attach the center and the outside frame, not the middle frame. And again, this one also has 3 layers. So that is attached there. And then it's foam taped on the front of the card where it really is in the center of the card, but the card, you know, that was cut away, but it just works really well and covers up everything. Okay, so we have this all placed. And I want to finish up the front of the card before I move into the back again. So that is foam taped in place. And again, you're just attaching it to the bottom. And then you're going to have, I hope your birthday is full of magical moments. Isn't that nice? So it's going to be attached and foam taped, just like that. And the little butterfly is up there. So they're kind of balanced that way. Then you see those more butterflies that are fluttering over here, and they are from the jewel acetate butterflies. Now these are all die cut. So there are 2 identical sheets. You get 32 butterflies. And as you can see, they are a really nice size. So they're 2 inches to maybe 1 3/4 inches to a little over 2 inches. And what Heidi has done is something that we find really neat, is that you can crease them next on each side of the body, put extra sticky tape behind the body, and just attach that. And then you get the wings that are still fluttering. And so that's kind of nice. There's even a side kind of a silhouette of a butterfly right here. So she's placed that one right at on top of the circle, and then one here and here. And then she has put purple jewel dazzles, more jewel dazzles along the body. And so that's nice with the medium one and then tiny ones down the body. One there, right there, and there. Now the bow comes from our 1/8 inch collection, and you see lots of colors there. And so she's chosen the pink, which is a nice accent to the purple. Then we go to the inside of the card, and that has the border that's on this paper, on this sheet. It says lots of love. It would say it even better if I turned it around, and just attached it there and there. So we've got more of these greetings. So she has elected to do You're So Fabulous flat, and then foam taped the High Flyer, another of the acetate butterflies with jewel dazzles. And then this is the oval right here, and then Sparkle on Your Birthday. So this is flat and this is foam taped. Again, another butterfly, more of the jewel dazzles, and more of the jewel dazzles are along that border. And notice the border matches the size of the paper, and that is, of course, lined up perfectly. That's what we like. Okay, so as you can see, lots of ideas, lots of ways you can use these. And even though she used 4 of them, which I probably got all over this table, let's see, here we go. There we go. Okay, all 4 of these, but I'm sure that you can see, because people who make things are good at substituting, and I think you can really see how well you could use these ideas on these pieces too. So that's nice. Now, these are all available. They're available individually, or you can buy the Money Saver. Speaking of the Money Saver, it's on the right-hand side of your screen, of course, where it always lives. And we give you a little bit of a savings when you get the entire collection. And I just do think these are quite wonderful, and I appreciate what Heidi's done on them. I did mention, but I want to say it again, down below there are instructions printed out. You can print them out for you. They're all right there. And if you happen to be watching us on YouTube, we would love it if you would head on over to paperwishes.com, where you can find these and take advantage of the Money Saver and of the instructions. Okay. I want to thank you for watching us, for being part of our Paper Wishes community. I want to thank Heidi for her creativity and all the wonderful things that she has made. But most of all, I want to thank you, because, you know, without you, this doesn't work. So we really love the fact that you're with us. Okay, well, guess what? I'll be seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.